welcome to the Mesa Chamber of Commerce Inside Business Podcast. My name is Sally Harrison. I'm the CEO of the Mesa Chamber of Commerce. Today, we are in the University of Phoenix podcast studio, and joining me as our guest today is Ike with Ike's Love and Sandwiches. Welcome. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
Hey, yeah, great to see you. Great to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. We're going to talk about, sandwiches and everything Ike's. I know there's a lot to your story, and not everybody knows the background, so let's get into it because we have a lot to talk about. You've done a lot since we met, I think, 5 years ago?
At least 5 years ago, yeah.
So talk about what inspired you to do something in the restaurant industry. Not everybody's that crazy.
Well, so why I got into the restaurant business, I was busy working for other people. Mm-hmm. I was working at Victoria's Secret. I was working at Trader Joe's. I was working in real estate, busy not selling any real estate. And I was just, for me, it was what could I do to work for myself, control my own destiny.
Right.
And I figured if I didn't like my bosses, which for the most part I didn't, then I might as well just work for myself because at least it's me, right? If I'm going to hate my boss, at least it's me. So, and that was all my fault. Not my bosses did anything wrong or anything. So, for me, I started making a list. Like, what do I love to do? And I'd been in business for myself before when I was much younger, and I knew that if I love to do something, I won't quit when the money isn't there, or if things go wrong.
Yeah.
So I made a list of what I love to do, and on that list was feeding people. On the list was eating. On the list was bringing people together and eating and being creative and opening up a refrigerator and making a great killer meal out of that. And so after looking through the things on my list, I wrote out like 37 things.
Nice.
I was like, I should probably open up a restaurant, and worst case scenario is I'd have food in my stomach and be able to buy food wholesale. So that was a plus, especially going from having 3 jobs to now I was going to have to make my own money for a living. Yeah.
Right. Well, talk about why sandwiches.
Oh, sandwiches. So I started as a full cafe. We did breakfast the first day. Breakfast, full espresso bar, salads, ice cream, milkshakes, and then sandwiches too. Sandwiches was, I guess, the main stuff that we had. And over time, though, because the first Ike's was only 400 square feet.
Oh, tiny.
Yeah, so small. And as we started getting really busy, that I started cutting things off. So the first thing I got rid of was the espresso machine because I wasn't really great at it, and neither were the other people that worked there. But also, when you're coming in and there's like a 30-minute wait for sandwiches, and then somebody goes, hey, can I get like 4 lattes right now? Then we'd have to take one person to go make lattes, and they're gone for 10 or 15 minutes, when in that same 10 or 15-minute time, we could have made 15 sandwiches.
Sure.
So we got rid of the espresso first. And then we stuck to that. Then we got rid of the breakfast, but mainly because I was working every single day.
You can only put in so many hours.
Yeah, and I didn't want to be there at 6 a.m. and then leave at 9 p.m. every single day. So I got rid of the breakfast menu. But also people stopped coming in for breakfast or for the breakfast items. They would come in, and even if they showed up at, say, 9 o'clock in the morning, they were, maybe because we didn't have the coffee, we weren't selling breakfast that much anymore, though they were coming in and still getting a sandwich to eat for lunch later. So we were selling maybe 1 breakfast sandwich a week, so we just got rid of the breakfast, and then, of course, the salads. That was like, let me get that off the menu. Because if you came into Ike's and you got a salad, you weren't going to tell everybody how amazing my salad was.
Right.
So I got rid of the salad. And we still made them. If you came in and said you wanted one, I just took it off the menu.
Sure.
And then we just had sandwiches and ice cream and milkshakes and stuff like that. And the milkshakes we sold a lot, and the ice cream we sold a lot. So that was the last thing I got rid of. Was once the wait got to like 2 hours for a sandwich, we just needed a new sandwich table in there.
Right.
And because the space was so small, we just got rid of the freezer with the ice cream in it and then replaced it with the sandwich table.
So,
and now we just do basically sandwiches.
So was there an evolution from your first concept to what it is today? I'm guessing that some things might have changed.
Like now we don't. We're figuring out what we want to add to Ike's.
Right.
Though from the beginning it was about making killer food and making sure we took care of everybody that walked in, and that part's still there when we open in Vegas or Austin or Houston or wherever, Honolulu.
Right. So for those that are listening, was there a time when things got hard at Ike's or maybe at another point in your life? And how'd you pull through? And do you have any advice for our listeners? I know you have a story.
Oh, man. Well, there's a lot of hard times that I had. And
Makes you the person you are.
Yeah, for sure. If it wasn't for those times, well, for sure, like Ike's wouldn't exist.
Right.
And also other benefits too. So I had a previous business when I was like 19, 20, 21, and it ended up not working out. And I had to sell my house and sell my car and basically living on people's vans. I lived in the back of the store for a while. While it was closed, it was out of business with no power. And living off of like eating canned goods off the store shelves. And then when I got evicted from that place, because I wasn't paying rent, clearly I didn't have money, and the business was out of business, was that I just have a couple handful of dollars a day to spend on food. So I was eating a lot of value menus at restaurants. Shout out to McDonald's and Jack in the Box for their dollar menu. Yeah, love you guys. Thank you. And though it taught me a lot of things other than like what not to do in business, though also like how to be okay with life not being great. And because there's I think adversity happens to everybody all the time. It doesn't necessarily need to be economically. It could be other areas. But for me, having to go, okay, well, I don't have money and I don't have a place to live, and solve that problem or equation or whatever allowed me to become the person that I am now. And there were other things too. I remember going to bed and I'd be sad or think I was a loser or hungry or all of the above and crying. And I just had this realization to myself that I broke my arm when I was when I was 6 years old. And I said to myself, "Oh, do I remember that?" I go, "Yeah, I remember breaking my arm." It's like having a conversation in my head. And then I asked myself, "Well, does my arm still hurt?" And I looked at my arm. I was like, "No, it doesn't hurt." And did it hurt back then was the next question I asked myself. And I was like, well, yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure it did. Yeah, I mean, of course it hurt, right? But it doesn't hurt right now. And I started asking myself other questions about past experiences that were negative and hurtful. And did it hurt right now? The answer is no. And so I started seeing that as my experience right then and there, even though it was pretty crappy, was temporary. And all I needed to do was wait for the day when it didn't hurt anymore or it didn't suck anymore in this instance. And so I started going to bed every night from that night forward going, you know what? It wasn't today, and tomorrow will be that way. And I said that to myself every single night before I went to bed after that. Well, today wasn't that day, though tomorrow will be. And the key was I actually believed, though, that as time passed, that life wouldn't always be that way. And so, then I ended up working. I moved to Hawaii for a little bit, stayed there, then worked at Victoria's Secret, and then a couple years. So from there to the day Ike's opened, that was about 3 years. From having to sell my car, sell my house, and living in a van or living in a warehouse or living on couches and stuff like that, and barely any food, to Ike's was 3 years.
So from my memory, which is not that good anymore, but I think you told me a story years ago about your mom being kind of instrumental in kind of kicking you in the butt and getting you started with your first sandwiches.
Well, yeah. So my mom, I decided, okay, I'm going to open up Ike's. I made this list, and I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to open up a cafe. Was what my idea was. I'm going to open up a cafe. So I go around, okay, do the checklist. Like, what do I need to do? I need a location. I need a menu. I need to figure out food costs. I need all these things, signage. And I was like, oh, okay, the last thing I need is money.
That's important.
Yeah. So I'm pitching my idea to people, and people are like, oh, opening up a cafe is stupid. It's the bad economy. It was 2007. So, like, why would you want to open up you went to college, like stuff like that. And people were super judgmental, or they just thought, restaurants are hard. That location's not a good location anyway, all these things. And I asked my mom as one of the people they wanted to invest. And she was like, okay. I'm pretty sure she only did it because she was my mom. But I'll take it. And so every time, if you love Ike's and you see my mom, just thank her, because if it wasn't for her, who knows? It might have not even been Ike's. It would have been something else.
That's awesome. Talk about your mission statement, your company values, the gift of love. What inspired that?
Yeah, so on our bags we write, we're about love, respect, and appreciation. Loving who you are, where you are, respecting just everything around you, and appreciating where you are in life right now, but also where everybody else is in life right now.
Yeah, not everybody's the same place.
Right. And just one of the magical things that I think is, so even us, like all the things in the whole entire universe that had to have happened in the ways that it had to have happened for us to be here right now in front of each other, is just pretty, like if you did the math on that, it would be, astronomically, how did that happen? But stuff like that happens every single day where the mathematics doesn't make sense, but here I am and here I am. And we don't treat each other that way. And so in the business, I wanted to be that way. And that's why we have the gift of love. And the G stands for gratitude. The I stands for integrity. F is for fun. Because literally, if I wasn't having fun, I wouldn't want to be there. And T, teamwork. Because, like, I don't know, I would only be able to have one Ike's if there was literally nobody else. And even then I didn't because I needed money from someone else. From my mom to get it open. So definitely teamwork. And then so gift and then of love. So the love is the underlying thing where if we're just that with each other, that's the secret ingredient at Ike's, is that we just care really hard and strongly about your experience and about making food. And that just ends up having great food and a great experience. And I think from the beginning of time till now, if you have a great product and great experience with the product, you're going to be successful regardless of what you're selling.
We talk about that all the time. You can have good product, your food can be great, but when I walk into a restaurant especially, I want there to be a connection with the people there, right? And I feel like if you don't have that, I don't know, I'd rather go somewhere else. I want both, but I'd almost rather have that customer service piece and that friend atmosphere than the food.
Yeah, absolutely. I was out at a pretty highly rated restaurant yesterday, and it was also pricey. And I thought the food was a B at best, though the experience from the customer service standpoint and the experience also just what they were doing too was like an A to A plus. Nice. So I'm gonna at least give them another chance, even though I spent a lot of money and the food was I wouldn't tell you to go there. I'll put it that way. Though because I really enjoyed my experience, they're gonna probably get another at least $100 out of me next time.
Very cool.
To try them one more time. But it's only because of the experience.
Sure. So I know you started in California, and did very well in California. How did you get to Mesa?
Oh man, we kind of got. There was that location we have on Mill Avenue, and back. How did it get out there? Somebody just was like, "Hey, we have this location on Mill Ave," and I'm like, "I know ASU. I heard legends of Mill Avenue. I'll come out and take a look at it." So we went out and we looked at it. My partner Jay out here, his wife Teresa, my lady. We went out there and then we looked at it and we're like, "Okay, we'll take it." Though the location was gonna take a while to get situated or built, and so while we're out there, we're like, "Okay, we'll look at this other location that was available in Mesa." Since we're already committed to doing something in Arizona, might as well do more than one. Why come all the way out here, do work, and then just do one? So then we found the location in Mesa, the original location, which we're not there now. We moved to Southern and Gilbert, a much larger location and with a drive-through. And we were there, and I was like, hey. I mean, literally, we decided to do two locations because we were doing one. That's kind of how it happened. Yeah. So we made the decision, hey, we're going to open one. Let's just do two. So we opened the other one. Then the Mesa location ended up opening up first due to it was ready to go. I think we signed that and opened it in less than 3 months, kind of thing. It was really quick. Yeah. So then we opened that one, and we had fun there. We opened on Valentine's Day, I think. Yeah, Valentine's Day of 2014. So that's 6 years. Yeah. So that was the first day of Ike's in Arizona.
So you're in multiple states now.
Yeah, we're in 5 states. And we're building a few others.
77 locations?
77 today, yeah.
What a great story. I mean...
Well, I got a great team. They do literally all the work. Story. I was telling you earlier, I just hang out and do podcasts, right?
So you have a big menu.
Yes.
How many items are on your menu? Like the official menu. that
Like
people
800.
see?
Oh, that people look at? I mean, if you
Yeah.
walked in the store, there's probably max 50 menu items on the store.
But you have
We've got
kind of a
another
hidden,
800 or so
yeah, a little bit of a hidden
secret menu, yeah.
And what's your favorite?
My favorite on the regular menu or the
Yeah.
hidden?
Well,
Yeah,
both,
both.
because maybe somebody will want to get something off the secret menu.
Right. So I love the sandwich I eat the most is the Madison Bumgarner, and that's designed with him. And now he pitches for the Diamondbacks.
Cool.
So designed that with him. I eat that the most, and I love her pastrami. I love her
Uh-huh.
Rubens. So we've got the Paul Rubens, and then we've got the Dirty Rubens. The Dirty Reuben and the Paul Rubens. So yeah, Paul Rubens, Dirty Reuben, and then my favorite like off menu item or secret menu item. I love the Don't F with Elvis Keith. It's and you say the whole word out, and it is a teriyaki chicken, mushroom, wasabi mayo, cheese sandwich. Yeah,
Holy cow.
I ate that or a version of that 90 days in a row when Ike's first opened.
Yeah. 90
Yeah.
days in a row.
I could only afford to eat at Ike's in the beginning. In fact, if we were going to go on a date, I'd be like, hey, I can only afford to take you to this sandwich shop. And back then, it wasn't that cool. Now, if I was going to take somebody out on a date to Ike's, they'd probably love that.
That's pretty
Yeah.
funny. Okay, so you have multiple sandwiches, obviously. You also have celebrity sandwiches.
Oh,
So
yeah, we got a
you
lot of celebrity sandwiches now.
talked
Yeah.
about some of them, but others that I know you've done like some TV stuff.
Yeah. So how it started when I was naming my menu originally is I didn't want to have a week, here's a turkey avocado sandwich or a club sandwich. So I wanted to name things cool or have it be a cooler name than that. And so I started naming the sandwiches after friends, family, significant people in my life, whether they're people that I knew or not.
Right.
And some of them happen to be celebrities. We got a Joe Montana sandwich and things like that.
Right.
So I posted the menu, and then as Ike started becoming cool or busy or whatever, I don't know, on TV, then and celebrities would start showing up. They'd come in and say, hey, how does this guy got a sandwich? How can I get a sandwich named after me?
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, okay, let's start designing them. So the first ever celebrity sandwich that we had that designed their sandwich was Tim Lincecum. He used to pitch for the San Francisco Giants, and this was in 2008 before he won his first Cy Young Award for being baseball's best pitcher in the National League. And it was basically once he got on the menu and we put a poster up there and he autographed the poster and he designed his own sandwich, that other celebrities would come in and be like, oh, wait, what's up with that?
Yeah.
And then that turned into we've got dozens of celebrity sandwiches that have been made either for people on TV or in sports. And we did one with Adam Richman on Man vs. Food. Robin Williams used to only get the same sandwich all the time, so we named that one after him.
Very cool.
We did one recently with Halsey. We did one with Marshawn Lynch, Steph Curry. A lot of people, yeah.
That's awesome. Talk about Dutch Crunch, because honestly, that makes the sandwich for me.
Oh, well, the Dutch, we've developed that recipe. It probably took about 8 years to get the recipe that we're currently using. So for me, I was not a fan of Dutch. Growing up in the Bay Area, I'd get a sandwich and I'd get the Dutch Crunch and it'd mess up my mouth, and I think it was not worth it at all. Now my mouth is messed up, and I really love eating. Like, that's one of my favorite things to do, and now my next meal is ruined because I ate this bread. And so for me, when I was opening up Ike's, is like, I need a Dutch that will not mess up your mouth. Otherwise, I don't even want that.
Yeah.
And so it took a while. I found a baker in the Bay Area, and we just started working and adjusting. And I'm like, hey, I needed to be sweeter. I needed to be more dense. I needed to be a little more salt on the back end. And just over time, it became the bread that we have. And then we came out here and we had to teach the recipe to someone in Phoenix. And that took like almost 2 years to get the recipe right out here because the temperature in the water is different.
I remember you were basically shipping it in for quite a while.
Yeah, and likely when we move into a new territory, we have to ship it in. So until we can find somebody that is local that can make it with the temperature, with the water, and with everything else that goes on there.
That's so cool. So who's someone that you've wanted to do a sandwich with, but haven't had the opportunity yet?
Ooh, it's a fine question. Well, I'd love to meet. Let's see. It said Bill Murray's probably one of those people.
That would be fun.
James Bond, Daniel Craig, or any of them probably. Taylor Swift.
Oh,
I'd love to be in a celebrity couple with her.
there you go. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So as we wrap up, let's talk about you're going to be unveiling a new sandwich tomorrow
Ooh, yes.
in your Mesa store.
We
Talk about
are.
it. Yes.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Now, by the time this gets aired next week, Monday, it won't be tomorrow, but people will have an opportunity to go. But talk about the sandwich that's going to be in the Mesa store.
It'll be on there by the time you listen to us.
Yes.
It's Sally's Mesa Chamber Club sandwich.
How exciting!
I don't know how this happened, but it happened, and it's a delicious sandwich. That's for
I hear
sure.
There's avocado on it. What
Yeah.
else is on it?
What's your favorite part of the sandwich?
Well, I haven't had this version yet.
Oh,
but
the new spot sauce?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's my favorite part of the
Yes.
sandwich. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. It is on the spicy-ish side. I'd say like a 5 out of 10. So as long as you're all right with spice, you can
Yes.
handle it. It's not like you need to sign a waiver.
Yes.
And then
I don't want to have to
like
sign a waiver to eat.
smoky and barbecue-y, yeah.
And it's
And
got,
then the avocado gets
cools it down a little bit.
cools it down a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to thank you for also incorporating some give back to the Veterans Center, because I know that's happened.
Yeah.
I
You're
believe
welcome.
Tucker was over yesterday, so thank you for working with the Veterans Center. Anything else you want people to know? Because you've got a cool story, and you've done so much just since we've met you. I mean, I think how many stores did you have when you moved to Mesa?
Mesa was the 14th store. So that's a lot of stores, 60 more stores.
You've been
Yeah.
very busy in the last few years. How many people do you have working for you?
Over 1,000 right now. I don't know the exact number.
That's just incredible. You know, good for you.
I got a great team. They do all the
bigger
work.
than
So
that, thank you for giving back, because I know you do give back in big ways to a lot of agencies and a lot of people in need. And I know you're always out, thinking about homeless and hungry, and that's commendable. Not everybody does that. Everybody has an opportunity, though.
yeah. Well, thank you.
Well, it's important. You're part of the community. You should also give back to the community, and obviously you do in many ways.
Well, thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
we're excited about tomorrow. We are so excited about tomorrow, and we need to know what the address is. Do you know what the address is?
I
on
don't know.
Southern? Okay, it's Southern and Higley. I know that much.
Yeah, I go to the corner of Southern and Gilbert, and then I'm like, oh, there's Ike's. Yeah, I don't know the exact address, but you'll see my neon face there.
Southern and Gilbert. Okay.
Yeah, right there,
Yes.
right off the corner. It's a drive-through. It's a lot of parking. It used to be a
Yes.
Fizz.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact address,
It's
though.
Southern and Gilbert. Yeah.
Yeah.
People will find you. You're on the northwest corner. And yes, your face is prominent.
Yeah, well, I guess if you don't know what I look like, then
Well,
you'll know what I look
But
like
when you see
drive
a
by.
face,
Yeah,
you'll know that
yes,
it's Ike's.
definitely.
All
And
right.
you asked if I had something
Yes.
to say. The main thing, I guess, for me, even in just the 6 years that we've been in Arizona, but before that is one wanting to move towards what I want. Like say I made that list, and
Yeah.
I could have made that list, and then likely other people have similar things, like they know what they love to do. But if I didn't actually go and do it, then nothing would have ever happened. It's one
Right.
thing to know what I want to do, and so if you don't know what you want to do, take the time to know what you want to do. I feel like anybody that says that they don't want to know is actually not digging deep enough on themselves to write it down. Sure, you might know what you want to do or pretend that you don't. It doesn't matter. If just because it's not realistic doesn't mean that you don't already know what to do,
Sure.
what you want to do. And then from there, just make your move before you're ready. Because if I waited to be ready to open up a restaurant, I didn't know anything about opening up a restaurant until I opened the restaurant, and then I had to deal with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 things. And in fact, the first Ike's is out of business now because we didn't do the things correctly with the city, and the city closed us down. And then by the time we wanted to reopen, we were already a chain. So then the city wouldn't let chains in the area anymore. So now the first Ike's doesn't exist. And now had I waited for things to be that, it'd be 3 years behind, and like 25 or 60, or I don't know how many locations behind too, and also the impact that I could give to people. So, because you following your dream is your number one benefit, your number one contribution to all of society. If you're super happy and doing whatever it is that you love, whether you're selling sandwiches like me, just sandwiches, it's still impacting
They're
so
not
many
just
people,
sandwiches,
right?
I agree.
Well, I mean, and theoretically, it is just a sandwich,
Well,
and
but
you have
think
your
about
thing
what
that you
you've
love to
done,
do,
right?
yeah.
With the sandwich sales that you've,
But that's
Yeah.
only because that's what I love to do,
yeah.
and then I went out and did it. And
You
the
accomplished
day that I
big
opened
things.
up, opening a sandwich shop, literally nobody came in, so it wasn't that good of an idea that day. Now it
Things have
is.
changed.
Yeah. And so, but that's only because I was going to stick to it. And so everybody has that thing.
Sure.
So just go and do it because you're never going to be ready to do it. And
Okay, so just
in
do
20
it, I
years,
think
yeah.
is
Nike.
maybe taken already.
Yeah. So make your move before you're ready. And in 20 years from now, you're going to wish that you did it today. So
That's awesome.
just do it today.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time because I know you're busy, and I know you came in for the grand opening of the sandwich tomorrow, so that's
Yeah.
awesome. We want to thank you for joining us today on the Inside Business Podcast. You can find all of our episodes of the Inside Business Podcast at iTunes, Google Play, or your own favorite podcast website. You can also find them online at mesachamber.org. Thanks for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate being here.